As our cable competitors are devoting hours of coverage today to the president's tweet about Stormy Daniels, voters, I think, are just tuning them out. Why? Because the voters are smarter than the media think they are, as usual. Americans outside the leftist activist bubble are focused on issues that actually affect their daily lives. Pocketbook issues. Like the stock market jumped 500 points today. Tech stocks way up. That's good for your 401k. And the Labor Department reported that there are 7 million job openings currently in the United States. And our industrial output is surging. All fantastic news. But Americans also see some trouble on the horizon as well. Lawlessness at the border that no advanced society should tolerate. Now we have another mass of people, as many as 4,000, I'm told, another so-called migrant caravan making its way from Honduras to the United States. And President Trump has had just about enough.
We have the dumbest immigration laws in the world. The world laughs at us, but we're getting them changed. We need some more Republicans. We need some votes.
I'll say, and for many years, voters have been telling politicians, enforce the border and close immigration loopholes. In fact, even on the issue of legal immigration, and a lot of people don't know this, the country is not clamoring for big increases. Check this out. Only 28% of Americans want immigration levels increased. 29% of Americans want them decreased. And a plurality, as you see, want them just to remain the same. Of course, most politicians continue to just ignore the wishes of the people. So what they do is they continue to expand things like distant relative chain migration. They refuse to allocate money for the building of the entire wall at the southern border. And they refuse to pass legislation to allow for immediate border turnbacks of anyone crossing the border illegally. And of course, Democrats are just against all tightening of the current ridiculous rules for asylum. Donald Trump won the presidency in large part because he wouldn't accept the status quo on immigration. And as usual, he was 5 steps ahead of most every Republican congressman on the issue. In July, Gallup found that Americans identified immigration as the top issue for them going into the midterms. Last month, it was the second most important issue, tied with just general economic problems. Democrats thought, I think, that a focus on the difficult issue of child separation, a practice that the administration has now ended, that would turn out voters and get Democrats or Latino voters really excited to get out there. But I don't think it's working for them. And remember, back in 2016, the Latino voter turnout rate didn't increase, despite Trump's push for the wall and a lot of stronger immigration enforcement. And of course, Hispanic Americans are themselves disproportionately affected by the impact of illegal immigration in their neighborhoods, in their communities, and ditto for Black Americans. The good news is that as this second caravan drama unfolds, it turns out that some establishment Republicans are waking up to the wisdom of Trump.
It makes the immigration debate more on Trump's terms. You know, there is no right to come to America. You know, we can have rules about who comes. And where's Mexico? Mexico needs to help us because the last time I checked, you just can't walk from Guatemala to here without going through Mexico.
Oh, yeah. And today the president warned the president of Honduras, if the large caravan of people heading to the U.S. is not stopped and brought back to Honduras, he's going to cut off foreign aid. Vice President Pence had separately warned the presidents of Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador to tell their people, do not make the dangerous trek to America, saying the U.S. will not tolerate this blatant disregard for our border and sovereignty. By the way, Honduras is on track to receive $65.7 million in foreign aid from the U.S. in the upcoming fiscal year 2019. But back to the midterms. As frustrated as so many of us are with the Republicans and what they failed to do at the border, well, the cause may be totally lost if the open borders Democrats take the House. While the president is focused on important things like abolishing the illegal immigrant gang MS-13, Democrats want to abolish ICE.
We need to rebuild our immigration system from top to bottom, starting by replacing ICE with something that reflects
replace it with a humane agency that is directed towards safe passage instead of the direction of the criminalization.
Safe passage. Everybody come on in. And Warren and Ocasio-Cortez are not alone, of course. There are a lot more like them that believe the same thing. Again, the choice could not be clearer for the midterm voters. There's so much on the line for America. Will Trump get the funding for his wall? Will the mass migration from other poor countries in Central America be stopped at all, ever? Will travesties such as birthright citizenship finally be ended? Will we mandate E-Verify to penalize businesses who game the system to keep American wages low? Of this, my friends, you can be sure. Your views on immigration will have zero impact and zero influence on a House dominated by Democrats who want to replace you, the American voters, with newly amnestied citizens and an ever-increasing number of chain migrants. If Republicans choose to unite, however, behind the president's immigration policy, the way they just did in the Kavanaugh fight, this will stoke voter enthusiasm even further ahead of the all-too-important midterm election. And that's the angle.